Shalom, everyone. Joel chapter 2, verse 32. And it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of YaHuWaH shall be delivered. For on Mount Tsiyon and in Yerushalayim there shall be an escape, as YaHuWaH has said, and among the survivors whom YaHuWaH calls. Now, Joel chapter 2, verse 32 is cited in the book of Romans chapter 10 and the book of Acts chapter 2. I want to bring that out. All who call on the name of YaHuWaH shall be delivered. It is written in the scriptures. Okay. What people commonly refer to as the Lord's Prayer. Matthew chapter 6. I just want to read verse 9 right here. Now, the way this starts out, most people say, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Okay. Now, in the Bible version that I use, the scriptures primarily, it reads this. This then is the way that you should pray. This is Yahushua telling us how we should pray. And the prayer starts out as such. Our Father who is in the heavens, let your name be set apart. So, hallowed be thy name and let your name be set apart essentially means the same thing. Okay? But I think that this is something that I never really thought about when saying the Lord's Prayer. It is just something that many people memorize and pray this. I mean, he does tell us to pray this way, but let your name be set apart. Now, this tells me, as I was putting this teaching together, as I was thinking about this, that it's like, let your name be set apart. That should tell anyone thinking about this that his name, therefore, it is not acceptable to call upon his name with a great multitude or variety of pronunciations. His name, just like everybody else's name, has a particular pronunciation. Okay, so, referring to him by differing pronunciation of his name is essentially calling on different names. That's why it is telling us right here, set apart is your name, or hallowed be thy name. It is one name. Okay, so on this note, I'm going to leave 4 links in the description box below, and they're all by the same channel, Messenger of the Name. This man is an excellent teacher. So the first teaching is going to be Restoring the Creator's Name. Hashem Revealed is an hour and 10 minutes long. It is on the Father's name, the name of YaHuWaH, and why it is pronounced as such. The other link is What is His Son's name? The name of Messiah, the true name of Messiah is Yahushua. That is an hour and 48 minutes long. Another one is The Wise and Foolish Virgins, and also another one entitled Who is God? Okay, so The Wise and Foolish Virgins is an hour and 18 minutes long. Who is God is 48 minutes long. And I strongly encourage anyone who is interested in this subject on the Father's name or the Son's name to watch all 4 of these teachings. Take the time to do it. It is well worth the time. But also anyone who is just interested in getting to know their Maker better, getting to know our Father better, getting to know your Messiah better, these teachings are well worth the time. So I just want to expound just for a moment on what is taught in the Wise and Foolish Virgins. Now, he makes the point that the parable of the wise and foolish virgins, which is in Matthew 25, that the oil, that is referred to, the wise virgins had oil in their lamps and the foolish virgins did not. Now, many speculate about what this means, but he makes the point here that the oil is the name of YaHuWaH, Now, many people may not have heard this before, but this is just a dynamite powerhouse teaching that I just watched again a couple days ago, and this man just boldly and enthusiastically proclaims the name of YaHuWaH throughout this teaching and others as well. So I just want to read Matthew chapter 25, verses 3 and 4 real quick. Those who were foolish, having taken their lamps, took no oil with them, but the wise took oil in their containers with their lamps. So the Hebrew word for name is Shem, S-H-E-M. The Song of Solomon. Now, in some versions, you'll see this as the Song of Songs, okay? But I think in most English versions of the Bible, it appears as the Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 3. This is a very interesting verse in correlation with this particular parable in Matthew 25. Your oils have a pleasing fragrance. Your name is like purified oil. Therefore the maidens love you. Okay, so when we see the word for maidens, the Hebrew word is almah, A-L-M-A-H. Okay, so that's either maiden or virgin. So this could read, and it would be the same exact thing, your oils have a pleasing fragrance, your name is like purified oil, therefore the virgins love you. Now that is a powerful correlation and something to seriously consider right here. Okay, so the Hebrew word for oil is shemen, S-H-E-M-E-N, Strong's Concordance 8081. The definition of shemen is ointment or oil, especially liquid from the olive. Now notice, the word shemen embedded in the word for ointment or oil is shem, name. Name is embedded in that very word for oil. That is very interesting, I believe. Okay, so in Matthew 25, 3 and 4, where the word oil appears, the Greek word associated with oil is Strong's Concordance 1637, and the word is elion, which is spelled E-L-A-I-O-N. And the definition of that is olive oil. Okay, so there's a strong correlation and connection here between the way oil appears in Matthew 25, the way oil appears, ointment or oil appears in the Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 3. Okay, and how this is connected with name or Shem. Okay, so that's, but you know, again, the Wise and Foolish Virgins by Messenger of the Name. He just goes into much greater detail on this. I just wanted to get that out there. I think this is an important, basis for, this video right here, and just, putting forth this notion, Okay, so in the video, who is God? Now, he goes into how, many assume that either God is our Father's name, or it is a title by which, the vast majority of people refer to him as, because, everyone has pretty much been conditioned to simply refer to our Maker, the Creator of all things, as God. Okay? But he goes into this teaching about who is God, that calling upon God is calling upon the name of another mighty one, which is not YaHuWaH. Okay? Now, so in the book The Art of War, we are told that all warfare is based on deception. Okay? So two major ways that deception has been thrust upon humanity by Satan, by the enemy of humanity, by the enemy of YaHuWaH, is the Sabbath change in the 4th century, the change of the Sabbath to Sunday, okay, which many just observe that today, because this is what the vast majority of society, at least American society, does, is they go to church on Sunday. But, if the Sabbath commandment is an important commandment, and it is, it very much is, if I were the devil, if I were employing deceptive warfare tactics against my enemy, I would sneak in there and change the commandments and change, therefore, the way people behave in connection with keeping our Creator's commandments. I would do this covertly, and I would do this in such a way where, this becomes the norm, and people just assume that this is normal to do things like this. Okay, so that is one way that it is done, but also the cover-up of his name. So in English Bibles, we see the words Lord and God in place of where our Father's name should be. The Tetragrammaton, the Hebrew lettering is Yod, He, Wah, He. So everywhere you see in the Old Testament, and in Revelation, and in the New Testament as well, where you see where it should read Yod, He, Wah, He, YaHuWaH, okay, we see Lord and God. Okay, so essentially what has been done is there's a deception that has taken place so that people are calling upon Lord, which equates with Baal, okay, and also God. Like I said, just watch the teaching, the 48-minute teaching, who is God, to get a good, thorough explanation of this. Okay, now, just to expound on that a little bit, John chapter 19, verses 10 and 11. This shows us right here that Yahuwah is in control of all things. Okay, so Pontius Pilate asks Yahushua, the Messiah, he asks him a question, and Yahushua refuses to answer. So we pick up here in verse 10, John chapter 19. Then Pilate said to him, "Do you not speak to me? Do you not know that I possess authority to impale you, and I possess authority to release you?" Yahushua answered, "You would possess no authority against me if it were not given you from above. Because of this, he who delivered me to you has greater sin." The only point that I wanted to make right there, the only authority, the only power, the only understanding that anybody has is what has been given to them from Yahuwah, our Creator, from above. Okay? So, the point of the cover-up of his name, he is not sitting there in the Shemayim, worried and sweating it out that, that Satan and the beast system has covered up his name. He has allowed this to happen. Why has he allowed this to happen? Proverbs chapter 25, verse 2 tells us, "It is the glory of Elohim to conceal a matter, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter." Okay? We are to seek him, as it reads in Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 3, but also in YaHuWaH, or Isaiah chapter 55, verse 6. I'm going to read that. "Seek Yahuwah while he is to be found. Call on him while he is near." That's Isaiah 55, 6. So, it is the honor of kings to search out a matter, and we are told to seek him here. So, seeking him and seeking the truth, he will open your eyes and lead you to all truth. Because I don't believe that knowing his name is for everyone. Okay? James 4:4 tells us that friendship with the world is enmity or hostility with Yahuwah. Okay? But he tells us throughout the scriptures that his people are to be holy or set apart. Set apart is a better translation because the Hebrew word is kodesh. Okay? So being set apart is completely different than having friendship with the world and fitting into the world. Being set apart is being different from the world. We're also told, I don't remember exactly where this is, but that his people are a peculiar people. Okay, so one of the tactics of warfare is to know your enemy's weaknesses. So Satan knows humanity, and he knows what we are concerned with, what is important to us. And one of the things that is very important to people in this world is to fit in and have friendship with the world, is to fit in and be socially accepted. Okay? But, being set apart sometimes means that you are going to look differently, you are going to act differently, you are going to speak differently, and speaking differently by calling upon the name of Yahushua or calling upon the name of Yahuwah instead of doing it like everyone else does, which is to say, they just call on God or they just call him Jesus. Because in most Protestant Christian churches, anybody who suddenly started using the name of Yahushua, they are probably going to be the only one in the entire assembly that does so, which might result in them being shunned from the rest of the assembly. And people are so concerned about fitting in that they don't want to do this. They don't want to look weird. They don't want to be socially ostracized. So being that this is a concern of us, I believe that Satan capitalizes on this fact about humanity. He sees this as a weakness, seeing that we want to fit in, that social acceptance is important to us, okay, and will capitalize on this, basically, preying upon this weakness so that people will simply compromise on these matters and seek only to fit in with the world because they fear not having the esteem of men much more so than they actually fear Yahuwah. Okay, and it tells us, in many places that the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. Okay? So, Isaiah chapter 52, verse 6. Therefore my people shall know my name in that day, for I am the one who is speaking. See, it is I. So he's telling us right here, in that day, in the latter days, okay, it is his people who will know his name, who will have sought him out, as it reads to do in Isaiah 55, 6. Okay? Now, I'm not the judge here. I'm just simply sharing what the word reads. Acts chapter 4, verse 12. And there is no deliverance in anyone else, for there is no other name under the heaven given among men by which we need to be saved. This should be taken to heart. This should be considered. Okay? In John chapter 5, verse 43, YaHuWaH tells us that he has come in his Father's name. Now that makes sense considering that YaHuWaH means Yahuwah saves, or the salvation of Yahuwah. You know, see, if his name were Jesus and his Father's name was God, now how does that really connect? How does that make sense? You know, I have come in my Father's name. That doesn't really connect at all. But his name is YaHuWaH, and he comes in his Father's name, the name of Yahuwah, which means Yahuwah saves. Okay? I just want to go over a few examples here of the importance and the power of his name, the name of Yahuwah. Psalm 44, verse 5. Through you we push our enemies. Through your name we tread down those who rise up against us. Now I want to give a couple of examples of that, because there are examples given of exactly that. Through your name we tread down those who rise up against us is true. Okay, Jude chapter 1, verse 9. But Michael, who is Michael, but Michael, the chief messenger, in contending with the devil, when he disputed about the body of Moses, presumed not to bring against him a railing accusation, but said, Yahuwah rebuke you. Okay? Michael doesn't get upset. He doesn't engage in an argument. He doesn't start ranting and raving. He doesn't bring a railing accusation, accusing Satan of this, that, or the other. He just simply says, Yahuwah rebuke you. Okay? Now there's a very interesting other example of this very thing in the book of Yeshar or Jasher, chapter 23. Now, the book of Jasher is referenced in the book of Joshua, chapter 10, verse 13. I consider this valid scripture. It is just simply, it is a very long book. It is about 3 times longer than the book of Genesis. But it spans Genesis up into the the book of Joshua, and it gives us just more detailed accounts of a lot of things that is covered in the Torah. And one of these stories that is covered in more detail here is when Abraham is commanded to take his son Isaac to sacrifice him. Okay, so it tells us in the book of Jasher, chapter 23. Now I am referencing from the book of the Sefer. Okay. Sefer contains 66 books of standard canon and 22 extra biblical books. Sefer.net is where it can be found. Okay, so in Jasher chapter 23, when Abraham is taking Isaac to the location where he is told to go, Satan begins to pull all sorts of tricks on him and to basically transform the landscape and appears as a body of water. Okay, and because what he's trying to do is he's trying to trip up Abraham so that he does not fulfill what Yahuwah has told him to go do. Okay? Abraham he knows the area, he recognizes that there is not supposed to be a body of water there. Okay? Then he realizes what's going on. So I'm going to share this in Jasher chapter 23, verses 38 and 39. When Abraham realizes what's going on and that a body of water is not really in this location, he realizes these are Satan's tricks. And he says, or as it reads rather, and Abraham rebuked him and said unto him, Yahuwah rebuke you, O Satan, begone from us, for we go by the commands of Elohim. And Satan was terrified at the voice of Abraham, and he went away from them, and the place again became dry land as it was at the first. Okay? So he realizes what's going on. You know, he doesn't argue about it. He simply says, Yahuwah rebuke you, O Satan. And what was Satan's response? He was terrified at the voice of Abraham and left them alone. Hallelujah. Okay, Psalm 91:14. Because he cleaves to me in love, therefore I deliver him. I set him on high because he has known my name. Okay? Now, in these last days, many talk about how to prepare for these times and so forth. I mean, those who understand that there is a beast system in effect, this new world order, that, we cannot trust the media, we cannot trust the government, we cannot trust the medical establishment, the so-called educational establishments, and we really need to rely on the word of the Most High, and we really need Him to be guiding us at this time, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. Okay, this is what we need. So, there are many out there who propagate the notion of getting gold and silver, and that somehow this is going to be the thing that is going to help in a situation of societal collapse or economic collapse. But if these are the last days and judgment is on the horizon, Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 18 counters this notion in a powerful and decisive way. Okay? Zephaniah 1 and verse 18. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of YaHuWaH. And by the fire of his jealousy all the earth shall be consumed, for he makes a sudden end of all those who dwell in the earth. Okay? Also Proverbs 11 and 4. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. Okay, so how should we prepare? I'll tell you, I think it's summed up pretty well in Proverbs 18 and 10. The name of YaHuWaH is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. Okay, so Proverbs 11:4 once again. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. Proverbs 18:10. The name of YaHuWaH is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. So those who have taken refuge in Him, who have run into the strong tower that is the name of YaHuWaH, that is considered righteousness right there. Okay? From the book of Enoch, chapter 49, verse 2. Now, chapter 49, again, I am reading from the Sefer. Okay? Enoch 49 and 2. In the day of trouble, evil shall be heaped upon sinners. Sorry, let me start over. In the day of trouble, evil shall be heaped up upon sinners, but the righteous shall triumph in the name of YaHuWaH Sabaoth. Okay, and the translation of YaHuWaH Sabaoth is YaHuWaH of hosts. Okay. The mark of the beast. Where's the mark of the beast? Revelation 13:16. Enter upon the forehead, enter upon the right hand. Revelation chapter 7 tells us about a group of 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, totaling 144,000. It tells us in Revelation chapter 7 that they are sealed upon their foreheads. Revelation chapter 14, verse 1 tells us what that seal is. And I looked and saw a lamb standing on Mount Tsiyon, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written upon their foreheads. I mean, wow, that is powerful. That is really powerful right there. It tells us, what this seal is. It is the Father's name, the name of YaHuWaH, sealed upon the foreheads of the 144,000. It also tells us in Revelation 14 that the 144,000 follow the Lamb, who is Yahushua, whithersoever he goes. Okay? So I believe that this characteristic of the 144,000 also emphasizes the point, as I was talking about in regards to the Lord's Prayer, or, as Yahushua tells us to pray, set apart is your name, hallowed be thy name, that this 144,000, if they have his Father's name written upon their foreheads, I don't think that they are saying, well, any old pronunciation of his name is okay, being Jehovah, Yehovah, or Yahweh being the most common names, when people refer to him by an actual name instead of Lord or God, these are the most common names that people will refer to. But I propose to you that these are other names. These are different names than YaHuWaH. These are not the true names, and YaHuWaH is the true name. Okay? Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 11. Now, in Deuteronomy chapter 5, the Ten Commandments are reiterated to us. Deuteronomy 5 and 11, this is one of those commandments. You do not bring the name of YaHuWaH your Elohim to naught, for YaHuWaH does not leave him unpunished who brings his name to naught. And bringing his name to naught means bringing his name to nothing. So covering up the name, using incorrect names, I believe that that would fall into, that commandment right there, as not keeping that commandment properly. Okay, so in the very next chapter, in Deuteronomy chapter 6, also, keep in mind once again, the mark of the beast, enter upon the forehead and enter upon the right hand. Deuteronomy 6, 6 through 8. And these words which I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. Okay? So when it reads, and these words which I am commanding you today, these are the 10 words commonly referred to as the 10 commandments. One of those commandments, what I just read in Deuteronomy 5:11, not bringing his name to naught. Okay? So they shall be as a sign on your hand, as frontlets between your eyes. That is a mark in the forehead right there. Okay? Being as frontlets between your eyes. Okay, so Revelation chapter 14, verses 9 through 11 tells us of those who have received the mark of the beast and what their fate is. Revelation chapter 14, verse 12 differentiates a group. And that is Revelation 14:12, I believe, sums up the true faith in this one verse. Here is the endurance of the set apart ones. Here are those guarding the commandments of YaHuWaH and the belief of YaHuShuah, those guarding the commandments of YaHuWaH, which includes not bringing his name to naught. Okay? And again, it refers to this group as set apart ones, not those who have friendship with the world and the esteem of men and who are able to fit into society and so forth. It is those who keep his commandments and have the belief of YaHuShuah. Okay, so again, I just want to emphasize, please watch the teachings, the 4 links that I'm going to leave in the description box below, and I thank you for listening.